Tracy and JB were last seen pulling out of the parking lot of this convenience store and heading in the direction of home. But they would never be seen alive again. The following morning, it's just before 5 a.m. when Tracy's mother, Carol, wakes up. It was her motherly instincts that told her body to wake up. Something was not right. Her daughter, Tracy, and her best friend, JB, should be sleeping soundly in the living room after returning from their missed party, but they aren't there. It's every mother's worst nightmare. Tracy had not come home, and this was not like her. At around 8 a.m. that morning, she calls the police to report them missing. Officers began searching, assuming that it may have been a car accident or some other kind of mishap. But the truth was something far more sinister. Something was already waiting to be uncovered. At almost exactly the same time that Carol made her call to their local police, Ozark police were making a chilling discovery. Officers found JB's Mazda 929 parked along Herring Avenue, which was a residential street not too far from where the girls had last been seen. But this wasn't just any street. This stretch of Herring Avenue where the car was found was eerily secluded by dense woods on both sides of the road. There were no signs of forced entry on the car, no obvious signs of a struggle. The driver's side window was down and the car was unlocked, as if whoever had parked it had simply stepped away and forgotten to lock the doors behind them. But the girls, they were nowhere to be found, so where were they? Inside the car, everything seemed untouched. Both purses were there, sitting on the seats. Wallets still inside, and money still in the wallets, so robbery was pretty much out of the question. Tracy's house keys sat on the passenger side. It was as if the girls had just disappeared. Everything was accounted for, except for one thing: the car keys. As investigators examined the vehicle more closely, things grew even stranger. Though there was no damage, the car was covered in mud. The kind of mud that you'd expect after a long drive through wet, rough terrain. But the most curious detail? The fuel gauge. The car was almost empty, despite having been filled just the day before. As the hours stretched on, Dothan police sent an investigator to the scene. The plan was to have the car towed back for further examination. But as the investigator stood by the car, waiting for the tow truck to arrive, something kind of caught his eye. The trunk of JB's Mazda was locked, technically, except it wasn't. Using an inside lever, he was able to open it. Inside the trunk were JB Beasley and Tracy Hollett, lying there cold and lifeless.